Well, Ben, thank you very much for joining me as ever on game day. And that was a painful watch. Paul Cook has seen another defeat, this time against Fleetwood, a 2-0 defeat. A long way to go on the Tuesday night for the boys. And they're coming home with not a good game. Your thoughts as ever?
Yeah, coming home empty-handed, completely empty-handed. Fleetwood, completely deserved it. We pretty much opened the house, let them take all the possessions, and and more really. We were dreadful. Obviously, I think everyone's going to cover it, and all the fans are going to be quite disheartened from that performance. Quite rightly, I think the players will get a lot of flack. Stick because Cook's only really just got through the door still. The games are coming thick and fast, but he's only been in a couple of weeks. Very disappointed after picking up a win on Saturday. Obviously, you go into every game. Every game Ipswich have been in League One, I've gone in thinking we should get a result, etc. But look, we were just well off it from the start. Conceded an early goal. The goal that we that came through Connolly, of course. That giant. How he won he won it because he was free, but how we didn't mark it was atrocious. Just a simple long throw sort of thing that happens at this level of football all the time. And that sort of set the precedent for the rest of the game. Sloppy, not really concentrating, not really the full effort I think we deserve as fans to see. I know it's a long season, and you can blame it on tiredness, etc. But Fleetwood looked fresh. They just wanted it more, I think, basically. I don't think they've got a better quality of footballer than we do, but our teams look so mismatched. Looks like we're putting square pegs into round holes. I mean, even in the second half, you've got about 4 or 5 number 10s on the pitch, all trying to come centrally and deep. I think at one point we had Parrott coming into our own half, Judge coming into our own half, Harrop, when he came on, coming into our own half all the time. We had no one up the pitch apart from Drinan at the end. We ended up pumping it up front. He's got no one near him. The same old problem. We 2 sloppy goals, but the defence can't keep us. They can't win us every game. We can't score 2 or 1 or 2 from set pieces and expect the defence to keep a clean sheet or concede 1. And you're just not going to win many games of football. We've got to start showing more in the final third. I've thought for a long time about Norwood. Even with him, we didn't look that great, and without him, we've got no chance. So unfortunately, Jackson can't play up front on his own. So if he's playing, you've got to play someone up with him and close to him. I'm not going to bang the drum about Parrott anymore. He scored his goal on Saturday, but I still don't rate him. I don't think he offers enough. We were just well below par. But saying that, as much as I'm sounding down in the dumps, I'm not too disheartened. The league is a funny league. The season's a really strange one. Obviously, in COVID times, we've got games Saturday, Tuesday. We're allowed a below par performance under a new manager. Yes, okay, we lost to Gillingham, but we won on Saturday. If we can pick up 3 points or a good draw at Pompey, or suddenly turn around and forget about about tonight. So, yes, it's not great, but we've got to try and think of right now. Getting that top six has got to be the main goal. We can talk about summer and changing players and blah, blah, blah. When it comes to the summer, there are going to be changes. But right now, let's try and get in the top 6, because I know there's that line of thought thinking Cook, we could, if we stay in this division, it could give him more time to rebuild. But I'm not one for that. If we can go up, let's just make a bloody good effort of it and try and get up. So let's move to Saturday, try and park this, forget it. I think as it will be, we just need more effort and better cutting edge. Where it'll come from, I don't have any answers.
Well, Brad, thank you very much for joining me as ever on game day. And that's defeat for Paul Cook's Blues as they lost 2-0 against Fleetwood. It was not a good watch. Your thoughts as ever, my friend?
Yeah, I've got to be honest, Ross. Being in League One, and that's what I'm going to say first of all before I say this, because I've seen some shocking performances in my time against Championship sides. So you can take the 0-0 at Burton, the 0-0 with Wigan. You can take them as Championship games. For me, that's the worst town performance I've ever seen. They just did not create anything. And anytime they got near the box, they're just so devoid of confidence. They feel like the best option is to work it back to their centre-half again. I just don't know what is going through their heads. No player was brave on the ball. Paul Cook has insisted how he wants players to be brave and look to create. Not one player was brave. I think only Josh Harrop could say he was brave on the ball, and then after a while it wasn't coming off for him at all. But don't create anything, don't do anything. It is baffling how this side is sixth. And after Saturday, I felt like, all right, well, do out there tonight. Just hold your own. Try get a point. Point would be fine. Even just some sort of battling performance. No fight, no energy. I mean, that's a bit questionable that he's playing Stews for 80 minutes after not having played all season. Just didn't create anything. What, 4 shots did we? Didn't know how to break them down. And even in the 75th minute, you decide, and like I've just said, to go back to your own goalkeeper rather than just put the ball in an area. Just put the ball in an area. You're 2-0 down. And in the 85th minute, you're still happy just to knock a ball around the back 4. I've never seen a team so devoid of confidence. It's like they're Wimbledon or something like that. It's like they should be 21st or 22nd. Like, just look like they just so scared to go forward at any opportunity. How are we 6th? I'm just going to keep saying it.
We're 7th now.
Well, 7th. So
Yes.
yeah, we are. We're 7th now. Oh God.
Still 7th, yeah.
But you know what? They'll probably go win Saturday. That's what I'll say.
So, Alex, thanks very much for joining me once again on game day. And we're going to be talking about a defeat, unfortunately, a 2-0 defeat at Fleetwood. Paul Cook has seen another defeat by his side. Your thoughts as ever?
Yeah, thanks, mate. That's a really depressing evening. Difficult to know where to start, but there's 2 key things in any game, but especially in League One. The 2 key things are the work ethic. You have to work harder than the opposition. And I wouldn't say we were short of work ethic tonight. But the second thing is to not make basic mistakes. And in the first 10 to 15 minutes, again, we are making basic mistakes, technical mistakes, footballing errors, common sense, stupid errors that we shouldn't be making. I hate criticising the team, and I really don't want to because I bleed this club. But let's look at the goals. The first goal, Wilson has missed the header. Everybody's been raving about Enciala and Wilson. And yes, they have done well, I think. We've built our success on clean sheets. But against Plymouth and against Gillingham, every time the ball comes into the box, no one attacks it. They're ball watching. When you're a centre-half, you need to be looking at the guy beside you coming in and the ball and doing both. When the ball comes into our box, they are ball watching. And they don't attack the ball in the right way. And we don't win headers when these balls come into the box. This was a header unmarked. Wilson is nowhere near him. It's a guy getting an unmarked header and flicking it into the goal. Unmarked. Where are we? That's basic stuff. That's just basic defending. And we don't get these basics right. And it's really frustrating. The second goal, Enciala, why isn't he stopping that shot? He needs to be closer. If there's a guy about to shoot, close him down. Don't just let him shoot through your legs. There's that urgency. Where's that fight? Where's that giver monkeys? It's just not there. And he's got a problem, Cookie. Let's look at Dazelle. First 20 minutes, that key 10, 15 minutes, he's looking for the Hollywood pass all the time and giving it away. It's not always on, Dozza. Don't always play the Hollywood, especially if you can't do it. Keep the ball, keep possession, build something. It's a shit ground. It's a crap pitch. It's Fleetwood, okay? Keep mistakes to a minimum. Let possession build. Do it that way. But we don't seem to have that common now. It's that common sense. Movement after the pass is everything. When Dazelle gets the ball and he gives it, that's the end of it. And he just tells someone to pass it back or pass it right. We talked about it earlier. Gundogan, De Bruyne, Grealish, they're moving in forward momentum. They pass the ball and they look for the return. They move. When we pass the ball, we stand still. There were 3 or 4 times when we did it and we did a 1-2 down the left flank and we got in. Ward had a shot that was tipped over the bar. We created something every time we did it. Drinnan did a run in the channel off a 1-2 and then he kicked the ball out for a throw in. Of course he did. But with that passing and movement is just not there. The mistakes in that game are hilarious. Scoos fell over in the middle of the park. That nearly gave away a goal. Do you see the one where Dazelle was on the edge of the box? Because he hasn't got a right foot. He used his left foot and kicked it back into the 6-yard area just for someone to have another go and score. The basic mistakes, Holy giving away the ball on his own line. Did you see that when he's playing with it? He gives it away. That was nearly a goal. The start was crucial and we just did not have it. The passing and the movement is not there. This isn't about systems. This isn't about playing 2 up top or 3 at the back. This is about technical ability. And where they handled it really well. Fleetwood were bossing us. They could have won that 5-0 at the end. It was embarrassing. But technically, we don't control the ball and pass it and then move. We can't do the basics. There is a technical element that's lacking in this team. So they get the ball. It isn't getting held up by the front two. It isn't getting held up by Jackson. It wasn't getting held up by Parrott. They weren't getting the service. But was Jackson making the right runs? Was Jackson pulling them? I don't know. It's difficult to tell from that angle. Everything about that was really poor. You can say it's just an anomaly and we have a bad day, but there was one game too far. Maybe Cookie should have seen that. Maybe Cookie should have. It's difficult. He doesn't see them on the training pitch. That seemed like a game too far for me. But at the edge of the box, Dazelle turned his back without blocking it. Wardy gave the ball away for a throw-in and just put his hand up and went, "Oh, sorry." No, that's not enough. I bleed this club. I'm cursed with this for life. This is me. I'm till my grave. This is me. I see Thomas Holy, and they're all fist pumping at the end of the game. When I lose on a Sunday or a Wednesday night, I'm physically sick with illness. I want to get off the pitch, that I haven't performed to my best. Where is that steel? Where is that anger? Where is that care? Where is that fight? It's just not there. I think the effort's there. I think that they want to do well. But this is about technique. Cookie's got a problem. I don't know who you keep in that side. Let's get real, okay? The takeover news was really bad. If that isn't happening, the Athletic have got a lot to answer for. It'd be a nightmare if it goes through, because that was a done deal, according to them. If that doesn't happen, we've got problems, because Cookie is going to have to look at this and say, right, who is worthy of putting the shirt on? Sorry, but Dazelle is just not doing it. It's just too lightweight. Bish, good to see Scoos play 80 minutes. But my God, where are they? Where's the care? Where's the fight? Where's the desire? And I don't want to see him fist pumping at the end. I'm sick of it. Look, it might be an anomaly. We might come back on Saturday. He needs to change things. We're still in the playoffs, but let's be honest. If all things go to plan, we will not get promoted. We are nowhere near good enough. Fleetwood have just bossed us. We need to cut out the mistakes. How we can magically become technically a better side, I do not know. Let's get real. We're not going to go up this year, but we've got a good manager, and that's my positive. It will be better on Saturday. We'll all be watching. I love the players. I love the club, but they've just got to give us a lot more.
Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining me as ever on game day. And unfortunately, we're talking about a defeat today, a 2-0 defeat at Fleetwood. Your thoughts as ever, my friend?
That's pretty uninspiring stuff, wasn't it? High hopes coming into this game. New manager, fourth game. You would have thought that the players would be slightly up for it, but alas not. And most of us paid the privilege to watch that. I thought we made quite an ordinary looking Fleetwood team look like Barcelona tonight. Now their movement off the ball, their ball retention. I think they won most first and second challenges. We didn't really have a lot of imagination, did we? We set up pretty much as expected. The new manager, who I've got total faith in at the moment, was talking about relationships and partnerships and kind of building like fluidity and things like that. But we really didn't see a lot of that. I thought the goals that they scored were pretty decent. Tony Holy didn't really have that much to do, but when he was called upon, he looked fairly decent. Tote Nsiala as well. He looked decent. I mean, Wilson and Nsiala. I think, unfortunately, it seems that we are again kind of morphing back into the Ipswich Town side under our former manager, where we kind of get the ball, pass it back, play amongst ourselves for a little bit, and then kind of pass it back and start all over again. There really wasn't any movement there, and I really think I would say it's a kind of wake-up call / blessing in disguise. But I think most of us said that when we played Gillingham, didn't we? It's like, no, it's all right. We don't mind losing because it shows Paul Cook kind of the work he's got to do. And again, here we are, pretty much saying the same thing. And you look at the options off the bench. I mean, I think we really missed Norwood today. Jackson again proving kind of how ineffectual he is. He's a League One striker, but I think he's only a League One striker when he's at his best. And today, he was like a statue at times. Guion battled hard. It's a shame he went off. I think it was ridiculous that he got a booking, because it was a 50-50 ball, and it was there to be won. I thought it was very harsh that he was booked and the other guy wasn't. But we huffed and we puffed, and they had some decent chances. I think we didn't have a shot until the 70th minute, something like that. Which for a team of our reckoning, we're all pretty sure. I think we all predicted a win tonight, didn't we? Apart from myself, I think I predicted a 0-0 draw. I even put a little wager on it, whilst everybody else is spending their hard-earned pennies on blood sports at Cheltenham. I thought, that's all right. Ipswich 3-1 to win. I'll have that. And alas, again, nothing. So, did we underestimate them as fans and as a team as well? I don't know. I mean, I think we were all turning our noses up at Simon Grayson, weren't we, a few months ago when he was like the 7th or 8th in line to replace Paul Lambert if and when he went, and it was an absolute masterclass. Their movement off the ball, the way they got it, the little 1-2s on the wings, and I think every time we got the ball, there was 3 or 4 of them around us. They absolutely killed any chance of us getting absolutely anything from the game. So, we're still where we are. We're still up there. There's plenty to be optimistic about, but we've got to learn to go to these places on a wet, wobbly Tuesday, going up north, listening to some of their, I think you and me could do a better job on commentary than Brian and Mildred or whoever they were commentating on the COD Army. But there you go. We've lost 2-0. We're down to 7th. There's plenty more football left to play, isn't there? So we've got to remain optimistic. He's got a hell of a job. I think if we don't go up this season, next season, well, obviously, yes, we all want that to happen. But, you wouldn't think that there were 19 first-team players with their contracts up at the end of the season. Some of those guys tonight, I don't even think they drew a sweat. So, yeah, there we are. I've repeated the same point like I do in 5 different ways. So there we go. That's my take on it. Let's see if everybody agrees or disagrees or is indifferent. Because, yeah, there you are.
Well, Bloomers, thank you very much for joining me as ever on game day. And you're the final guy I'm speaking to tonight. And we're talking about the defeat at Fleetwood. Not a good watch, was it? Your thoughts as ever, my friend?
No, it wasn't good. And that's putting it very mildly. In my opinion, it was probably the worst performance of the season. And I don't say that lightly because we've had some dross over the last few months. The Northampton game was probably the nadir. The reason I say it's worse than any of those, even throughout all the crapness, I think you can get away with that without putting the censor on it. All the crapness that we've seen, you could say, okay, the endeavour was there, the effort was maybe there, it just a lack of everything else. Tonight, the effort wasn't even there either. From second one, we didn't look like we were up for it. And from second one, Fleetwood and Simon Grayson looked like they knew exactly what they needed to do to win that game. I'm not saying that he put a managerial masterclass on Paul Cook, because I won't put a lot of blame on this on Paul Cook, because it's his 4th game in charge. But he sussed us out completely, knew what our strengths were and what our weaknesses were, knew that we had no cutting edge in the final third, and we haven't for half the season, probably more than that. So just let us tap it around in the middle. Doesn't matter. Just battle for all they did was just battle for every ball, made sure that they were first to the majority of the loose balls. And that was all they needed to do. And we just looked horrendous in every single department. Holy, I think he should be dropped now. That's just another performance where he hasn't looked good. It's another goal where he's suspect at best, at fault at worst. The second goal, I've never seen someone dive like it. It's like, when you're on FIFA and you're playing pro clubs and you can control the goalkeeper and you watch the goalkeeper and it's someone controlling him, not the goal, not the computer. It doesn't look quite right when they dive. That's what he looked like when he dived for that second goal. He suddenly went up and then down. I know he's 6'8", but like it was bizarre. Andre Dezelle, a 1 out of 10 maybe, just didn't look up for it. He what's the word I'm looking for? Typified the whole team from second one. Didn't look up for it. Playing hospital balls into players that had sort of no right to do whatever. Like he did it a couple of times to some of the defenders. Like he got bailed out a few times. It wasn't good. To give it an analogy, to wrap it up, just because this is topical with the Cheltenham Festival starting today. If Ipswich Town was a horse, which actually, yeah, we are a horse, so it works perfectly. If Ipswich Town were a horse and we were in a race, we'd have been pulled up halfway through by the jockey. And that would have saved us from having to watch the bloody second half. There's nothing to take from that game, nothing whatsoever. I can only hope that Saturday, back on it, there needs to be some kind of reaction. But the fact that the players aren't giving reactions in Cook's fourth game in charge gives me no hope whatsoever. It's a massive opportunity missed. We're still hunting around the playoffs. I know we're out the top 6 now. We've got some games in hand on Charlton, who are now directly above us. But those last sort of 2 playoff places, maybe even 1 playoff place now, there's a bun fight with 5 or 6 teams. And do I think we've got the minerals to get it after watching that? Not for me, Clive.